Ladies and gentlemen, the end of an era again. We were just here not too long ago talking about a game that was being shut down, end of service, end of life. And here we are with some more bad news that dropped just about 10, 11 hours ago. First leaked on Japanese Twitter by accident, I think. I don't know if it was intentional, but yeah, it has now been confirmed as legit. King of Fighters All-Star is going to be ending service this year. This one's close to home for a couple of reasons. This was basically the first game I genuinely engaged in after starting the MFF channel. And so I didn't stick with it. You know, other content creators did. I mean, Forgo Nation was still one of the best content creators, might be the best content creator for kofas. But that you guys also know from MFF. But yeah, I couldn't keep up with the game. I couldn't keep up with all the releases and all the characters, and also the gambling for the characters. It eventually hurts my wallet a little too much. But it all, at the same time, it sucks. You know, I don't have a lot to say about where the game went wrong. Obviously, for that, I would definitely leave that to the content creators and the hardcore players who have been covering the game since day one, playing since day one. Because I was a very casual player even when I was playing. I wasn't super hardcore into it. I wasn't super I wasn't super into it. But yeah, it's still tough to see a game that you watched from the inception get shut down. And again, it's kind of crazy to see these games come and go within the lifespan of Marvel Future Fight. And it's a fun, like, it's not fun, sorry, it's a good experience, I think, like, mentally, to sort of check yourself into term of, like, okay, Marvel Future Fight's been around for a really long time. It's got great legs, longevity, but also the acceptance of, like, okay, it's going to shut down one day. So I feel like these videos are kind of like my own therapy session where I can, like, slowly come to terms with the fact that Marvel Future Fight one day is just we're gonna get the notice of termination. We're gonna get one of these, I don't think it's coming next year. I don't think it's coming the year after that. And actually, oh man, I wanted to show you guys. I got a screenshot. Let me pull it up real quick. I started playing Honky Rail last night, to the delight of iBig, and I was filling out a survey because they were doing a survey in game for some crystals. And it said here, like, what other games do you play? And under the action RPG category, they had one of their old MiHoYo games, Honkai Impact 3rd. And then they had Marvel Future Fight. We were not relegated to the ETC, baby. We were on the main thing. Y'all, with Candy Crush and Subway Surfers and PUBG Mobile and, AFK Arena and these big time games. So that actually made me really happy. And I think maybe Marvel, like, maybe in the community or maybe like in the industry, Marvel Future Fight is actually a much bigger deal than we realize as like players and content creators, because that's one side of things that I literally have never talked about or heard about or like even have any information about. Like, what do other publishers think about when they look at Marvel Future Fight? Like, are the publishers impressed that the game has lasted this long, despite the fact that it has very limited gacha mechanics, doesn't have character gacha mechanics, etc.? I mean, it doesn't have limited, it has a lot of gacha mechanics, but not for characters, right? Because all these games nowadays, including Honky, has gacha mechanics for the characters and for the gear. Whereas Marvel Future Fight, I think, is one of the only, if not the only, successful long-standing mobile game that doesn't have character gacha, that only has equipment gacha. And I've made that argument before. I've made the case for why that makes Marvel Future Fight so special, and it makes me really proud and happy that they're like other people realize it. But yeah, one day this is gonna happen to Marvel Future Fight regardless. But again, stuff like this makes me think it's not coming soon. It's not coming next year. It's not coming the year after that. There's still lots of legs on this game. But yeah, King of Fighters All-Star end of service schedule. This was last night at 10 p.m. And yeah, so it's ending just before the day before Halloween 2024, spooky hours. And nearly 6 years of service since, I believe, 2018, right? Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Now, interestingly, a couple of things happened that I want to touch on that don't happen with other games, okay? But I want to touch on this because I think it's important. I think it's really good the way that the team is handling this one. Obviously, you never want a game to shut down. Obviously, it's not a good thing, but they terminated all sales in the shop the same day that they announced the maintenance. And this is something that I'm critical, but I should be more critical of with other games. Like, I'm pretty sure Marvel Super War didn't do this. And I know there's other mobile games that don't do this. What I'm trying to say is that other mobile games will announce that they're shutting down, but they will leave the shop open for people who unknowingly keep buying. They'll leave the shop open for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months before they shut it down. And you would be surprised. It would come as a shock to you, but it's true. A lot of people, maybe half of the people that play a game, don't ever engage with online communities. They don't ever go on the forums. They never watch a YouTube video. They just log into the game and log out of the game. So if it's not in the game, like if you don't open up Kofas and get that pop-up about end of service, you wouldn't know. Like half of those players wouldn't know, and that goes for every other game too. So I'm actually impressed, and I think this should be the industry standard, the gold standard, that as the day you announce the service ending, the shutdown notice, is the day you cut the shop off, because otherwise it's just super predatory, and it's a super mega scam, super mega scam. So I'm impressed that they did that. They're also releasing an update on the same day. So in a way, it's kind of bittersweet. They're actually releasing an update with 2 new characters, Iori 98, I think, and another Lady Chang variant. I was watching Forgo's video a little bit here before I started recording. So that's actually interesting as well. There's actually 3 things. So that's the second thing. To pair the shutdown notice with an update, it's an interesting tactic. I feel like it's actually good. I could be wrong about this, or you may have a different opinion, but I feel like it's bittersweet that way, because they're actually still giving you something like, hey, listen, like the game is shutting down, but here's another update, right? Because I think for a lot of players, as soon as the end of service announcement is made, it sort of hits you like none of the rest of the updates matter, right? From now until, like, if I'm playing Kofas, right? From now, King of Fighters, if I'm playing it from now until October, I don't give a fuck if they release new characters. I'm not spending, right? I'm not going to spend a penny. I mean, I'll spend whatever crystals, rubies I have in excess. Like, I'll dump everything. I'll spend all my resources because it's never coming back, right? There's no offline mode. They're deleting the servers. It's gone, right? But I think it's nice. It's sort of bittersweet if they do it at the same time, because at least you get to enjoy one more update. Because if they announce the end of service schedule and then they release an update the next day, you'd be like, ugh, that seems like in bad taste, right? But this way, I feel like it sort of manages expectations, and it manages the negative feelings a little bit better. And then the third thing that they did really well that I'm actually impressed again with, I think the King of Fighters dev team deserves a round of applause for this. Now, King of Fighters All-Star hardcore players may hate me for saying that. They may have a lot of gripes and bones to pick with the devs for not, ensuring that the game has a longer lifespan than 6 years. I'm sure people feel that way. But they also dropped an end of service developers note. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but again, I think it's just like a nice gesture, It obviously doesn't make up for whatever errors the game had. I can't speak to those things accurately because I haven't been following the game for years, outside of just like very casually hearing from players like, oh, they're finally releasing so and so, or oh, they're doing this big event, or oh, they're doing all these like reruns, or the game is the damage is in the trillions now. Whatever, like just casual things. But again, I think this is kind of nice. Again, it doesn't leave them off the hook. It doesn't let them off the hook for maybe failing the game in other ways, but it's certainly more than other devs. I will say that. It's certainly more than other devs have given their end of service announcements for their games. So they say it's been in service for over 5 years, almost 6, since its launch at October 22nd. And they did their best, but they think it was not enough to repay the great support received from all of you. And then they wanted to give gratitude. They're talking about, going through the IP and sort of dealing with basically running out of space. Not space, but like running out of characters to release and re-release, right? And then they apologize, and they apologize again, and then constructive criticisms. Like, this is good, you know, to hear again, a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Not some little indie dev, but they're willing to say not only the support you gave us, but even the constructive criticisms were a great learning experience for the development team and became a driving force for continued improvements. Like, it may not matter to some of you, but this is a big reason why a lot of YouTubers make content, right? Because they can be a voice. They can be sort of like a megaphone that amplifies the voices of the community in order to make constructive criticisms easier to find, and they can actually be a force for good to make a game better. Like, who knows, right? We have no idea, but who knows? If Forgo never made videos on Kofas, if all the other content creators never made videos, the game may not have lasted this long, right? So maybe the content creators and the community supporting them and stuff extended the game's life by a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years. We don't know, right? But it's certainly more than a day, right? And stuff and comments like this definitely illustrates that. And beyond YouTube, right? I'm not just gonna glaze YouTube. You know, people who go on the forums and actually post constructively. I'm not going to scroll down to the comments because they're probably quite negative. But people who genuinely take time, they're very rare. It's exceedingly rare, which is why I'm smiling. But people who genuinely take time out of their day to post constructive feedback, to post bugs, right? Like bug reports and stuff like that. You know, that's important. That's very important, and it's nice to see that at least they're. It sounds like they're listening, or they were listening at some point. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Again, it's always so sad to see, like, on the Reddit, you know, you scroll down a little bit and the posts were pretty inactive besides like new banners, and then boom, as soon as they post, it's over, guys. Over 100 upvotes, 68 comments, just like the engagement just goes through the roof. But you know what, I will say this, unlike some of the other the other ones that I've seen for like MFR, Super War, stuff like that, it seems like this community was more realistic. It seems like they knew, like, they say it sucks, right? But they seem realistic in the sense that they sort of saw it coming, or they felt like maybe, you know, the writing was on the wall a little bit. Now, obviously, with hindsight, as soon as you know, you can start saying, "Oh, I knew all along." But yeah, it's a bit refreshing to see a more realistic take. The only unrealistic thing it really is asking for the offline mode. I don't think, or I guess refunds. I don't think asking for an offline mode is necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's unrealistic in today's economy and just like the way that games are made now. Even like big time games don't get offline modes really. It's very rare. It's very rare that games get offline modes. I mean, I still like the practice of offline mode. Don't get me wrong. I think it should be. Most games should have an offline mode, especially when they make millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. But yeah, especially in the mobile space, it's very rare. Anyways, yeah, just a quick shout out here. This is 2019 Cynicalex wearing a Raptors champions hat in the year that they won their first chip. Pulling for Gonitz back in the day. I didn't get him. I got him eventually, but yeah, crazy how time flies. And yeah, that's less than 5 years ago. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Anyways, man, hit me right in the feels. Hit me up in the comments down below. This one hit closer to home for sure. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.